Hi, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to see about amazing information that the man with two faces. Subscribe my channel. I would post a video weekly to reach you. On December 8, 1895, the state capital Sunday Post printed an editorial titled The Wonders of Contemporary Science that given stunned readers with reports from the supposed Royal Scientific Society documenting the existence of marvels and monsters till now believed imagined. The human freaks purportedly catalogued by Brit scientists enclosed imaginary creature, a terrific human crab and therefore the unfortunate Edward Mordrake, who would shortly become an everlasting urban legend. The false story of Edward Mordrake begins. Edward Mordrake was a young, intelligent, and handsome English male aristocrat, yet as a musician of rare ability. However, with all of his nice blessings came a terrible curse. Additionally to his handsome, traditional face, Mordrake possessed a terrific disfigurement, another face on the rear of his head. This atrocious second face was that of a beautiful girl, lovely as a dream, hideous as a devil. The strange visage possessed associate degree intelligence of a malignant kind. Whenever Mordrake cried, the second face would smile and sneer. Mordrake was perpetually littered with his devil twin that unbroken him up all night whispering such things as they solely speak of in hell. The young lord was eventually driven mad and took his own life at the age of 22, leaving a note ordering the evil face be destroyed once his death, lest it continues its dreadful whispering in my grave. In 1896, Yankee doctors St. George M. Gould and director L. Pyle enclosed the Mordrake story in their book, Anomalies and Curiosities of Medication, a set of weird medical cases. Gould and Pyle were legitimate ophthalmologists within medical practices, however they appear to possess been quite gullible in a minimum of one case, because the story of Edward Mordrake was pretend. Investigating the truth behind the man with two faces. As Alex Boesia's diary repository of hoaxes diligently deduced in 2015, the author of the initial Post article, Charles Lawton Hildreth, was an author and science fiction author. His stories tended toward the fantastical and otherworldly. But simply because an editorial is written by somebody UN agency tends to jot down fiction, that doesn't mean the article itself is fiction. Still, there square measure several clues that time to the Mordrake story's falsity. For one, Hildreth's article cites the Royal Scientific Society as its supply for its varied flaky medical cases, however a corporation by that name didn't exist within the 19th century. The Honorary Society of London was a centuries-old scientific establishment, however there was nothing a Royal and a Scientifica by name within the Western world. Whereas not actual, the name was so plausible, that gave Hildreth's story an additional air of credibility. Secondly, Hildreth's article seems to be the primary time any of the medical cases he describes have ever appeared in any literature, scientific or otherwise. The Royal Society of London's entire info is searchable online, and Boesi wasn't ready to realize any of Hildreth's anomalies in its archives. From the city spider, a head with 6 bushy legs, to the fish lady of Lincoln, a mermaid-type creature. When we have a tendency to notice this, Boesi wrote, that once it becomes apparent that Hildreth's article was fiction. All of it sprang from his imagination, as well as Edward Mordrake. It seems that newspapers within the late 19th century weren't controlled to constant editorial standards as nowadays. They were sources of each info and diversion, and often full of fictional tales conferred as prose. Hildreth's tales weren't feckless journalism, per se, they were simply written convincingly enough to fool some of doctors and to endure within the public imagination for quite a century. Hildreth died mere months once his article was printed, however, so he didn't get to visualize simply quickly the Yank public was fooled by his wild creative thinking. Thank you for watching. If you prefer this video, share to your friends and family. Keep supporting us.